by the way, for graduating. That's awesome. Yes. So a real contact. You've met them. You have name, address, phone number, email, and if you saw them in Target, you would recognize them. Okay.
I don't even recognize people I know.
When I go to Target, and I tell my husband I'm going to Target on a Saturday. It's a weekday, not so much, but if I'm going to Target on a Saturday and it's 10 o'clock in the morning, he said, always now, I'll see you in a couple hours. And they said that once, and my dad was there for something, and my dad's like, how can you spend hours in Target? I said, because it's where I sell most of my real estate, and I see people every single time. It is rare that I don't.
Really?
Yep.
Which Target?
I was the one in Franklin. It's right by my house. And most of my business is in Franklin, Greenfield, Greendale, and that's where everybody goes. So I get to see them. Okay. So I want you to think about a real contact. All right. These are people that they know you, you've met them. You have a phone number, you have an email address, you have an address of where they live. Those are the basics. There might be other things, birthdays. We're going to talk about birthdays and all kinds of other stuff. But I want you to think about that when we're running numbers. So those of you that know how many people are in your database, estimate how many you think actually fit the description of a contact. And think about that. Okay. So, I mean, if you like, for me, I mean, I've got over 2,000 people in my database. I've been doing this for almost 29 years. So I would expect that. People that, and I look at this and I've looked at it again, people that I feel are my A clients, that I have all their information, I have birthdays, I would recognize them, they respond to me. Now I have almost 1,000 that fit that, but I also kind of narrowed it down to people who would respond to me. Not to not touch the other people. I had people come to a client party this year, I haven't seen them or heard from them, not a peep in 9 years. And they're selling their house and buying a house with me. Okay, so I'm not telling you to take those people out. Never, never. Do not take anybody out. You never know who's going to show up. Okay. Unless they're deaf. That's a good point. So if you think about who's in your database that you have an email, phone number, and address with, and that you've met and that would know you. Okay. We're going to run some numbers on the number of transactions you should get out of your database so that we know if you have to add, if you have to make adjustments, what that looks like. And then move into our touch program and how to communicate with them easily, inexpensively, and free. And free is pick up the phone. Okay. Don't ever think that technology can replace creating a relationship. So those of you that are on the pivot shift call, and you know who James Shaw is, one of his team members, her name is Vicky. Vicky was the lead researcher for Gary Keller for the research team for the One Thing and the MREA2. So we don't have an MREA2. They've been doing research for a long time. Eventually, they will invest the time in updating the book, the actual book. But here's the research. Now, the research they do is on Gary's top 100. So that's the top 100 agents that Gary Keller has in his private mastermind. Okay. 84% of their business comes from their database. And they said the number one activity is calling them once a quarter. We don't teach you that, and it's not in bold, and DTD2 doesn't exist to give you, yeah, kind of do this. Call them once a quarter. If you do nothing else but call them once a quarter and send something in the mail, you're still going to get business. But obviously, we want to ramp that up. Okay, so now let's think about numbers. And I'm going to ask you guys to write this down so that when you have your number of how many you think you have in your database, that are Mets that you know, that you would recognize or maybe recognize, or they might recognize you and you're gonna go, what's your name again? Because that happens, right? Sue's going, see, Sue, that's me. I can see people and instantly know it, and I can remember the house they bought. But their first name, I'm like, looking like an idiot because I can, oh, yeah, Shepherd Drive, Oak Creek, how's the house? How are the kids? And yeah, okay, we won't go there. All right, so I want you to think about this. So if you have, the ratio is 12:2. I know there was some talk of changing. It wasn't really changing it. It was re-describing it to make more sense. But here's why it's 12:2. So for every 12 people in your database, you should get 2 pieces of business. The reason they have it separated 12:2 is there's 2 different kinds of business. So for every 12 people in your database, if you touch them consistently, a minimum of 36 times, you should get 1 transaction from someone in your database, and you should get 1 referral from someone in your database. All right? It's crappy out there. It is.
So I have my drive open, so if you
Okay.
could just log out when you're done. There's
Absolutely.
everything in it.
You rock.
And then,
Yeah, we're
Just-
only using 2 things today. So it's
okay, so just so you guys know that the videos, the links will be in this drive. I have to have Brooke upload last week's. It was kind of long, so it took a while. So she needs to put it in there, and then this one will also be in there too.
Awesome. Thank
So you can always watch.
Yeah. Thank you. And thanks for setting it up. Eventually somebody should show me how to do that. But
Well,
as long as you're here to help, I'm good. Okay, so think of 12:2. So let's say you have 400 people in your database, okay? So if you have 400 people in your database, you're gonna divide it by 6. Obviously, you're not gonna do the 12:2. You're gonna divide it by 6. Just know that the pieces of business are split between an actual transaction from someone in your database and a referral. Okay, so if you do that and you divide it by 6, that's 67 transactions out of your database. Now, what you need to know is it's 36 touches a year. This is from the research. It's 36 touches a year consistently for 3 years. And if those of you that aren't doing that, okay, it's okay. But you should, if you're consistent over 3 years and 36 touches, if you have 400 people in your database, you should get 67 transactions. Who remembers what their number of transactions is? What is, how many transactions are you looking for in 2023?
Well, my goal is 25.
Okay,
That number is higher than.
right. No, I just want to know what your goal is.
My
What do
goal
you
is
need?
25.
Okay, so 25,
Mhm.
29, did I remember? Oh, man, I remember. Cool. 20. You know how many transactions?
Ours was 32.
Okay, okay.
I was just like 10.
No, never, don't ever apologize. You do what's right for you. That's perfectly good. Number, dear.
Well,
12, okay. All right, so I want you to think about this. So that means if you have 200 people in your database, let's say you have 250. Okay, Nikki, how many? Because aren't you around 200 ish?
Well, once I enter everybody, yes, but I'm about 180 right now.
Okay.
I have to get everybody in.
Okay,
Lots
that's gonna be,
sitting on
you
my-
need to have, yeah, you need to do that. That's a big deal, guys.
Yeah.
Really big deal.
It's on my
All right,
list.
so let's say it's 150. Let's go low just so you can see. And I want to run these numbers and then we're gonna run some other things. Okay, so if you have 150 people in your database and you touch them consistently, you should get 25 transactions. Okay, so you have 150. That's 25 transactions, okay? And I'm a math major and I use my calculator for that. Are you kidding me? Okay, so is that a lot of people to get 25 transactions? If you have 150 people that you touch 36 times or more a year for 3 years, you should get 25 transactions with nothing other than quarterly calls and other touches. Is that hard? Is that a lot of people? No. 150 is not a lot. Now, the question is, no, not anybody in this room. And correct me if I'm wrong. I, Peter P. Anybody in this room consistently 36 touch their people for the last 3 years?
No.
Not even me. And I've been doing this system for a long time. And yet, here's what happens when you stay consistent over time. Okay. Yeah, I have a lot more people in my database. No, I wasn't consistent. I climbed parties, but I didn't call everybody the way I should because we were running like crazy. Right? We're in the speed market. We're running like crazy. We're running around and everybody's chicken with their head cut off stuff. I still am at a little over $7 million closed because I've been doing it semi-consistently for a long time. So time on task over time will make a difference. Okay. So if you're at 150 people in your database and you have all of the information, nobody had a lot bigger, yours is a little bit bigger number. You have more people in your database.
Yeah, we got 700.
Yeah, you've got quite a few that, which is awesome. Okay, 25 transactions. So if you haven't done it over time, what else can you do to do more and to get more transactions?
About time in your day.
I'm
Part
sorry,
about time in your day.
for what activity?
Call.
Okay, that's part of the consistency of the 36 touch, correct? You must call quarterly. But if you haven't been doing it over the last 3 years and you have a bigger goal and the statistics say you might get to it, you might not, what do you need to do to hit your number?
More.
You need to talk to more people.
Yes.
Okay, you can't squeeze, you're not going to squeeze a lot more out of your 150. Okay, if you touch them 136 times in 2023, that doesn't mean you're going to get more transactions out of the 150. So you need to talk to more people.
Need more people.
So what are ways that we can have more real estate conversations with people in your world?
Open houses.
Open houses,
Farming.
door knocking, farming, what else?
Social community events.
Social community events where you're inviting people or they're bringing people that aren't already in your database. Yep. What else?
Go to Target.
Hey, you know what? I'm slow on transaction money. I'm gonna go spend the whole day at Target and just talk to people. Facebook Messenger. Some people in this room have done the Facebook Messenger, and I'm going to talk about that. That's another way to get contact information, to add contacts to your database that you can touch. Nikki, can I share your story? Do I have permission to share your story? So here's an idea, and I should do this in Target. So during bowl, Nikki and I are having a conversation, okay? And she tells me, and I'm so proud of you still. I love telling the story because you overcame a huge thing. She went to Marshall's, okay? And her goal was to go into Marshall's and talk to people, right? To make contacts in Marshall's. Okay, that's scary. To intend to go into a store and talk to strangers, right? She sat in her car for an hour
Before she went in.
okay? Trying to bring up the courage to go in. Okay, so she sits in the car for an hour trying to say, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. I am so proud of you. She got out of her car. She went into the store. She went and put some things in her cart, home good things, and stopped strangers and said, you know what, can I ask you to do me a favor? I'm a real estate agent and I'm looking to get a closing gift for clients. If you were a client of mine, would you like this? That's flippin' brilliant. It's brilliant. Are you kidding me? She's telling them who she is and what she does, right?
Yeah.
But asking for a favor, nobody says no. You know, especially like if you're in the store and it's the middle of the afternoon and everybody that's in the store is retired. They want to talk to you because they don't have anybody else to talk to. That's true. Okay,
Everybody else is at work.
exactly. So, okay, that's out of your comfort zone. You did it. So you could do that. I know people that set up shop at coffee shops. That's, you know, Home Depot. One of the things that one of the guys does, he's in North Carolina, that's in our small group with James. He is a retired vet, now selling real estate, super nice guy. He goes to Home Depot and he just hangs out in the parking lot and takes carts from people and takes them back. And says, let me take that for you. And he collects all their carts, but they ask him, you know, what's going on or whatever, and he gives them information and he's having conversations and he's adding people to his database. Now he's in a smaller town in North Carolina, so it's kind of a different vibe. But still, you know, it's just another, so you can think outside of the box. But if you, what we're looking for is touches and now business. How do we meet your number? So adding to the database with people you already know and lifting them up into that group is a big deal. The Facebook Messenger, and I've got the scripts here. Some people have already done it. Super easy. It's, hey, I'm trying to stay in touch with, and I realize I don't have your information. What's the best address, email, phone number, whatever. So I've got those, and that's a really good way to go through all of your contacts in Facebook and add them and get their information, because you know you're connected to them in some way. And not everybody's going to respond. I think when I did that in Ignite, there was an agent, I can't remember who it was that did it. I gave everybody 10 minutes and she sent 20 messages because you just copy and paste it. And she got 14 responses and added 14 people to her database in 10 minutes. But these are people that, you know, you have some connection with. Okay, so now this is just what you should get. Okay, so now if you're gonna take, who can tell me, do you know your average commission?
Average commission.
Your average commission?
I would be guessing.
Who knows average
It's
commission?
like 60,
Well,
68,
6,800, and you wanna do 10,
20.
20. So your average commission is 6,800. And you want to have 20 transactions. Okay, so I want you to think about how many do you think are in your database?
Real
Yeah.
ones, probably 80. So I have
You're gonna
like
add to them, so let's go. So I want to think about this, okay?
Yeah.
So if you have, let's say you have 100. Okay. Let's say you have 100. Okay, in your database. That's something back to you. Okay. So that gives you that 17 transactions. Now, you know you need to add, and you know you're gonna have to do, but you know there are things, open houses. I mean, this is just your number one lead source. They were just talking, what can you get out of your number one lead source, and then how do you need to supplement it with open houses, door knocking, whatever.
Well, I have like 140, but yeah, there's a lot
No,
of them I don't remember who they
Let's
are.
estimate with what it
Yeah.
really is so that you know you're working off the right stuff.
Right.
Okay, so that's 17 transactions. And if you've got 17 transactions times your average commission, which is 6,800, okay. You're at $115,600 in GCI. That look good? Yeah, that looks really good. So now, if you take that 115,600 and you divide it 115,600 in GCI, and you divide it by the people in your database, obviously, okay, $1,156. That $1,156, okay, is how much every one of your real contacts is worth to you every year. Okay, so what we're saying is if you touch 100 people 36 times a year minimum every year, okay, you should get 17 transactions. 17 transactions at your average commission gives you your GCI from your database. And remember, you got other lead sources. So 115,600 from your database comes to $1,156 per contact in her database. Okay, so what the research shows, if you're touching 100 people in your database 36 times a year, this is what they're worth to you every time. And you divide this by 4, okay? Okay, so take this, divide it by 4. Do you know why I divided it by 4? Per quarter? Yeah, exactly. And that is $289. This is the number you should post in your office. Because what it's telling you is that every single time you have a conversation, not leave a voicemail, not send a text, have a conversation with someone in your database, you just made $289.
Would that be a good number to refer to as well? When you're thinking about costs?
No,
Mailers,
Nope.
is that,
Nope.
would you
Nope.
use that as a?
you could, I
just
suppose
kind
you
of
could,
check
you
your-
could balance it, but it really isn't because it's an expense and you have expenses in your business and your expenses should not exceed 30%. So really it
Of that
isn't,
number?
no,
No,
30% of your GCI.
Okay.
Okay, so you could, because if you now know this, but this GCI is just out of your database.
Right.
So really what you should be doing is taking your total GCI at 30%. Do Scott's profit, budget model profit.
So that.
But that's 30, the average is 30, 30, 40. So it's 30% cost of sale, 30% expenses, 40% profit is what you should. Now it changes for an
Say that again.
individual agent or team. 30% expenses, 30% cost of sales, 40% profit. So let's do a really quick side note before we move on. Who can tell me what qualifies for cost of sale?
The expense you spend on your business.
No, you're doing it for sale.
The firm's.
Cost of sale. Think about what it says, as opposed to an expense, because you have 2 buckets. You have a cost of sale bucket and you have an expense bucket.
My portion of the.
What goes?
Minus what the company did.
Cost of sale is only what you pay out when you sell a house. Period. Referral fees, BAC fee, cap, royalty. If you have a buyer's agent and you're splitting with that agent, so 100% of the commission goes to the rainmaker. Rainmaker then pays a percentage to the buyer agent or the listing agent on their team if you have a team. Everything else is an expense. Signs, block boxes, photos, because you're spending that even if the house doesn't sell.
Right.
Okay, so your 36 touch, everything is an expense. Okay, so your expenses should not exceed 30% of your GCI. Okay, makes sense? Okay, so now you should be able to, and if you don't have all the numbers, work on it, get estimates on based on what you, how many transactions you want and what your cost, what your average commission is. If you don't know it, Kelly, do you know what the average commission is for the market center? Wasn't it around 7,000 something?
Yes, because our average is 330 for the market center.
So you can use an average number,
85.
85, I thought, yeah, okay. So 8,500 is the average commission earned in the market center. So you could use that. I would go a little bit lower to start out with. But as you think about, okay, if you have 100 people in your database and you touch them 36 times a year for 3 years, and just do that, just do that. You're at $115,600 in GCI, $289 a call. That's what you make when you make the call, because you earn the commission when you get, you don't earn the commission when you sell the house. You earn the commission when you get the listing, when you get the lead, and then you do your job to get it sold. Okay, because without the leads, without the appointments, you're not going to get here. So the leads, the listing leads and the buyer leads are what causes you to get paid. Questions? Make sense? Sorry, I had to start with math, but I wanted to get this out first. Are we good? Was this helpful to understand how to figure this out?
Very.
Okay. And if you want, I mean, I suppose we could, or I can write it out too if you want.
So can I ask one more question?
Yes,
100 divided by 6 equals 17. What does the 6 stand for?
that's, well, the 12-to-2 ratio. When you divide, it's just divided by 6 because that's what it is. They just call it a 12-to-2 because one is a transaction from the actual person in your database and one is a referral by someone in your database. Okay, you call them quarterly. Gary's top 100, 84% of their business comes from those quarterly phone calls. Okay, so let's go to the next step. Who hates making the phone calls? Look at all the hands go up. Okay, tell me why.
I'm having a hard time blocking time in my schedule.
Okay, you need to be here next week for time blocking. And we'll talk more about that.
And that'll be on Tuesday, like the normal business.
Is it
skills.
more?
No, the normal business skills.
What? No, next week Tuesday is the 12-week year.
Oh.
Friday is time blocking.
Never mind.
Yeah,
Morning.
Friday morning is time blocking. Nikki, why do you not like making phone calls?
You know, it's old is helping me get over this, but it's the fear of, oh, I'm bothering them. They're busy. No, you actually make them all happy to hear
They
from
need you.
Yeah.
And that's hard to get over, but you will.
Yeah.
Anybody else who else raised their hand that they don't like making calls to their database?
A lot of the people that I call and don't know what they're doing yet, and so it's trying to talk about real estate, and I just go right into like high interest rates that never move in and stuff like that. So I find that hard to kind of respond to.
And that's a different conversation. And there are some scripts, including one of the Facebook Messenger is new to the business. And so you can do that, but there are other ways. Because when you start out, we have a hard time because we feel we're being salesy.
Yeah.
We're throwing up all over them information, right? It's hard in the beginning, Nick, and I see head shaking. What if you were able to call with something of value and ask them to do you a favor, because people never want to say no?
That would be better.
Okay, so the first quarter call that I do is an equity analysis, and that's a different story. Okay, We will talk about it, but I really think the number one way to call your database and to reach out to them in the first quarter is something called the 5-star script. And I will get this out to you. Okay, I'm gonna send it to you. If one thing that's really cool is never ending referrals. Never ending referrals is taught by 2 bold coaches. It is a live webinar, live Zoom webinar. Mondays at noon, I think it is. It's $39 a month. And it's called Never Ending Referrals. And they've taken a lot of these ideas. Those are the 2 bold coaches that created the DTV2 system. So if you're so inclined, they're masters. But this script came from them, and it's a twist on something that we tried to do as a market center last year with the From Your Friends postcards. This I find much better. So, especially somebody new. Hey, you know what? I'm so excited to tell you that I decided to become a real estate agent and help families buy and sell homes, be helpful, change the word, help families buy and sell homes. I'm so excited to start this new career. And I really need your help. Would it be okay if I asked you to help me with something? And here's the script. Now this part, the one, I don't have the one for the agent. This was for the agents on my team. But it's like, you know what? Especially with somebody new or somebody, even if you're in the business, I am building a list of quality service providers and contractors. Because people I'm running into are asking me, and I want to make sure that I'm giving them the best information. Or an existing agent, I'm going to be calling again saying, hey, you know what? Could you do me a favor? I am updating my list of contractors. Now, if it's somebody on the list, I'm going to ask them, did you get 5-star service from them? How did things go? Because I want to know if I'm referring a contractor, I want to know if they're doing a good job. And then it's, oh, by the way, have you had 5-star service from any other service provider or contractor lately that I could add to my list? Some will say yes, most will say no, but it's oh, you know what? Thank you so much for thinking about that. I really appreciate it. I just want you to know when I have my updated list, I'm going to send it to you, but just know that I have a resource of almost, 800 agents in the Keller Williams system around Milwaukee. If there's something you need and I don't have that person on my list, please let me know. I'm happy to reach out and find the best in the area for you. Because don't we go on Facebook and say, hey, I need a roofer. Mm-hmm. Hey, I need this. Hey, I need that. And everybody lists their top people, right? Mm-hmm. We have the resources. Mm-hmm. So if you called everybody in your database in the first quarter, these are your first quarter calls, could you make that call? Yes. Do you feel like you're bothering somebody, Nikki, when you do that? Could you?
No, you're giving them something of value. Always come from giving.
Yeah. Okay. So it should be everybody's first quarter call, because now you're going to take it a step further. Here's the whole system. This is not just a phone call. Here's the whole system. So Sue, thank you so much for telling me about ABC Landscaping. I'm so happy they did a good job for you this fall. Do me a favor when you can, take a picture. I want to see what they did. I'm so glad you're happy with them. By the way, who did you work with? Do you have a specific person that you worked with there?
Yeah, Tim.
Yeah, cool. Tim, can you send me his information, or do you have it handy?
Yeah, I do. From when he did the work, I'll get home to you right away.
You know, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm going to reach out to him because I want to find out what else they do, so that when I add them to my list, if people ask, I know what he does. I know all of the things that they do. So thank you so much for sharing that with me. I'm always here to help if you need anything else. Or if you know somebody that's looking to make a move. We're coming into, it's not nice out now, but by February is when we start really getting busy. So just let me know. I'm happy to help.
Yeah, of course, always.
And I appreciate that very much. You have a great day. Now, okay, so was that hard? Okay, so now the next thing is you call Tim. at ABC Landscaping. Hey, Tim, this is Chris Westwoods from Keller Williams Realty. I just want to say thank you for taking care of the Arnold family. I just talked to Sue and she said you did a fabulous job regrading and putting in all new plantings in their backyard. I know I can't see it now, but come spring, I want to go over there and look at it. I just want to say thanks. Do you have a minute? I'd really like to learn more about what your company has to offer. Get the information, okay? Get the information. And then you go and ask them, do you guys have a site on Facebook? Do you have a page? I'd love to take the page and share it because, I've got over 2,000 people in my database. I've been doing this a long time. Somebody else might need your services. Well, of course, they're going to say yes. Chances are slim and none, they don't have something. And then you go on Facebook and you tag your client and the contractor. And oh, by the way, Tim, do you ever run into people who call you to clean up their yard because they're getting their house ready to sell? Yeah, trimming tree, whatever. And I said, I would really appreciate it. I really want to work for business too. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me. If somebody was looking to buy or sell, do you know a real estate agent that you trust that you'd refer them to? Usually no, not really. I'd love to be able to do that. Can we have coffee this week so we can kind of get to know each other? And that way we'll know exactly how we want to work together. I really want to send you business. Sue said you guys were fantastic. What coffee? Now you added to your affiliate database that you can stay in touch with. They might personally look to buy or sell in the future. And if you stay in touch, you have to stay in touch with them as well. You might get a referral here. It might be one a year, but okay. So is that hard? Does that feel uncomfortable? She's not sure. You got out of your car and you went you're fine. You'll do this step by step. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody's got to work through. All right. So your first quarter calls, even if you don't take it as far as meeting with contractor, at least call them and find out what they do and add them to your contractor list, to your referral list. Okay. If you don't have one, start building one. If you want more people for the list, go to our Facebook pages and search plumber, and everybody's posts will come up on plumbers. I mean, you can start building it. So
I wonder, where do you keep all your affiliates? Are you using a spreadsheet at home? How are you creating this list?
in a Google form.
In a Google form.
Yep. And then I can print it or I can create a PDF. If somebody wants it and they want everything, then I just download it as a PDF and email it to them. I'm not giving them my Google form because I'm not going to have people changing things.
Oh, right.
Just download it as a PDF and send it out. Okay, so that's a really easy first quarter call. And truly, you don't have to do anything other than call and just say, hey, you know what? I was thinking about you today, so I thought I'd give you a call. I just want to see how you're doing. What's new in your world? Do not say, how are you doing, and not follow up. They'll say, fine. Right? Driving through the neighborhood. I was thinking about you. Want to give you a call. What's new in your world? And during COVID, it was easier. Are you still working from home? Are the kids back in school or not? You had other things to ask. But just by making what is called a care call. And then if you've got something going on, see, for me, it's a little bit different because I do 6 client events. And then I can follow up and say, oh, by the way, we set the date for the Milwaukee Wilton game. It's July 22nd. Put it on your calendar. Are you guys here? A lot of people will say, we're going on vacation that week or whatever. Dang, you're going to miss it. We're even got a Saturday this year because we've got fireworks. Whatever it is you have going on. And if you don't have something going on, the number one tip for finding places, I swear, subscribe to Milwaukee Magazine. I get everything in an email. I know what's going on everywhere. And I post that stuff and use it for stuff all the time. You know, they just had an article on how Candy Cane Lane started. I got more people commenting on that than anything. But then you're able to comment back, so now you're having another conversation. Okay, so. Calls, try not to have call reluctance. The more you do it, the better it will get. If you get voicemail, leave a voicemail and call them back. Really try to have a conversation. Now, I do have text messages that go up. I know they did something in bold. Mine's a little bit souped up, so we're gonna look at that. You can, you know, as long as it's a two-way conversation. The other thing in regards to social media. Okay, social media can be your friend if you don't go down the rabbit hole and be on it for hours.
Oh, right.
Okay, so I do it at night. There's people now that have kind of figured out my system, because they're like, well, you're only on it at night. I'm like, yeah, I'm busy during the day. Sorry, not my. You know, if I take a break and I'm eating lunch, I might scroll through on my phone or something. But here's another touch that doesn't cost you much at all. Do everything you can to get your clients and people in your database, connect with them on Facebook. The thing is not to post a bunch of stuff. Yes, you should post things, and I tend to post more community things or things from Keeping Current Matters. I would also subscribe to Keeping Current Matters, even if you're just getting, you can get the free stuff. Or you can subscribe and they have different levels, including videos. If you do, I think it's $89 a month. But I think the entry level is $29.95 a month. And then you can customize the blogs and you can post the blogs, you can send them in an email, and they're very well written. He's been around for years, very well written. But when you're on Facebook, here's what you do. Get everybody possible. Connect with you on Facebook that's in your database, and then you stalk them. Okay, so here's an example. I just found out last week that one of my clients got a new puppy. And I've used this example before, and now it's actually happened again. I'm like, oh my gosh, how adorable. What kind of puppy is it? I knew what it was. It's chocolate lab. It's kind of hard not to know. I just, you know, is it a mix? Is it a mud? Is it a, and I got a response back. It's a chocolate lab. We got them. It's AKC registered. We're going to breed her, blah, blah, blah. So I got all this information, right? So then I have a box of gift cards at home. So it's easy. And I have $10 gift cards that I send out. I grabbed one from PetSmart. I wrote a little note. Oh my gosh. It's Ellie was the name. Ellie is absolutely adorable. I'm sure she's going to bring your family a lot of love and joy with a $10 gift card to PetSmart. Okay, what other realtor does that?
Nobody.
Was it hard? What did it cost me? $10 in the stamp? Go getting engaged. Go get an engagement card. Send them $10 to, I send, which is if they're younger, I send them $10 to BW3s.
You love them.
You know, you can, if you're using AM cards, you can send brownies. It's more. I try to keep the cost down because it's not expensive. Okay, somebody has a baby, they get a card with a $25 gift card to Target. Or depending on what's going on, if my mother's capable, if she has the time, I have her custom make blankets. Peter, do you?
Yeah, I'll do good clients. Well, that's something really repeat clients. It's actually good clients might just have babies in the last 2 weeks. Later, mom died. Oh my gosh, so what do you do about that? Here's a baby basket. So that's, yeah, but the baby basket was a good thing. You know, I tend to, they had a baby about a month ago, so I'm gonna probably send it.
So tell us what your baby basket.
It's a, I was a boy and girls. Girl, boy, boys. comes with baby bib, comes with hoodies, a hat.
So do you, where do you
get that
Do you order it from somewhere and just have, no, does it come to you and you deliver it?
No, it's still right to their house, but I think.
Oh, we need to know that. We need to know where this is coming from.
It's still right to their house. It takes time to respond back, so it's just because I mean. It's just hard to report. So somebody just had twins. Twins. And it's a boy and a girl, so.
Oh, there you go.
So
What a
it
neat-
was actually just trying to
Okay,
order
that's
it.
a great idea. I mean, think about that.
It's good, they're almost $50.
Okay,
You know, a little more expensive and stuff. So-
but what an impact.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
We're saying one transaction is.
Where's
The
how
average
much?
is 6,800
Yeah.
or whatever.
Well, and I just think about this, the purpose of doing this is mind share now, market share later. If you keep doing this, you are in their mind. Their reticular activator is now going crazy because they see you in it. They see a text, they see an email. You comment on Facebook and you call them. And I have A+ core advocates that are just like us, that when they are in a restaurant and someone 4 tables away says, we've been thinking about selling our house, they do the same thing we do. We go, talk to those people. Need to go, because I hear that, right?
It's funny, because I already have my husband trained. Like, he'll hear something, he's like, get on
Okay,
that.
you know who's the worst? Your mother. It took my mother 2 years. I'm like, how many neighbors that I grew up with are moving and you didn't tell me? Come on, get with this. Well, I wasn't even thinking about it. I said, it's been 2 years. It's something I started yesterday.
Oh, you're filtered?
Yeah.
Oh, you're filtered.
Yeah.
I just ended up taking all the contacts right out of my dad's phone and sent them to my phone and just started calling their friends. 'Cause
What a girl. Okay, wait a minute. Time out. I've never heard that idea before. Did you hear what she just said? Take your parents' phones, get their contacts, and add them and start calling them, especially if they're like old neighbors that you grew up with, for crying out loud.
Wait a minute, did they know you did that or not? Did you steal it?
Well,
That's a
I was
She hesitated. She hesitated.
I was helping him with other stuff.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, "Dad,
All right. Like, you know, what about John and Marilyn, all these people? I'm like, can I just, he's like, forward it to your phone, that's fine, go ahead. So,
Oh my gosh.
so I got.
All right. That's brilliant. Okay, class done. Just do that. I mean, think about what she just said. I never even thought of that. I mean, other than my parents' closest friends,
Yeah.
I know my my mother, we moved into the house in New Berlin in 1967. You know, she is still going to her homemakers club once a month since 1967.
Wow, that's a long time.
Okay, they're all my old neighbors. I grew up with these people and their kids. I should have them in my database. Some I do, but I don't have them all. I'm just gonna grab her phone. And she won't mind.
For making sure you're going to bridal showers, baby showers, weddings, funerals, as you're connecting with people that you don't normally see that are in your family or friends, and when they sign in, they're putting all their information in there.
Yeah, okay, there's another place to get more, because adding to our database is important too. Okay, so.
Steal the registry.
Yes, yes, okay, so. DTD2 calls, call them once a quarter. I just gave you a great idea. If you want to learn the equity analysis system, we'll do that in another class. Because I'll show you how to go into RPR and find it, and it's really easy. So just as a side note, for those of you who aren't aware, I did it last year, I've done it the last 2 years. It's just my first quarter call. This is my second quarter call. I do an equity analysis for everyone every quarter. It's their real estate update. And I do it quickly in RPR on the Friday before. So the first week in January, we're calling A&W. On the Friday before, the A&W call group in DTD2 gets a text message that just says, hey, it's equity checkup time. I'm gonna be sending you an equity analysis. If you have questions, let me know, or if you want to go over it with me, let me know. I'll set up a Zoom, it'll be easier. And I usually get probably 4 to 7, 8 people that will respond to that text. Those are the ones I do first. I schedule a Zoom, I get on, it's 15 minutes, but I use the app from Focus to do an equity, because if they respond, I'm like, hey, so that I can give you the right numbers, what's your mortgage balance? Okay, I can look up their taxes, and so then I do very quick, it's 9 pages, go through it with MP, then I do that net proceeds has gotten me more listings than anything I've used. Because when I tell them, yes, the market is changing and prices are still going up, just not as fast. You still have equity, and oh, by the way, you guys have, here it is, I go through all the expenses. You have like $250,000 in equity. Did you realize that?
Is that the focus title? next
That
sheet?
Focus Title app works awesome. Yeah, and you can email it,
Right.
print it, you can
Yeah,
email
so-
it and stuff
That's your first quarter
So-
call.
to everybody in my database. Yep. And then,
What do you do for the people that don't know?
there's hardly any.
Hmm.
And I would just call them with just a market update. Hey, here's what's really going on in the market. Are you interested in buying, or do you still want to keep building your landlord's wealth?
What's the best time of day to call? What time do you block out?
I call in the morning.
8, 9?
I start
Best
calling
time to call
around
is
8,
between 10 and 11 a.m. on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
For some reason.
but I start calling first at 9,
Okay.
from 9 to 11-ish. 9 to 11 is when I
Tuesdays
usually
and
call.
It's like some statistical- It's like the optimum time when people are gonna answer the phone.
And if they don't answer, leave them a message and call them back, because you want to have the conversation. Okay, you want to have the conversation, so call them back. Okay, so let's talk about other touches. So we know we're gonna make a call to everybody in your database every quarter. The DTD2 system is very easy to set up in Command. If you don't have the paperwork, I actually have the schedule from Never Ending Referrals, so I can make copies or pass this out. But I have another way to show it to you too. I got this, okay? So what other ways do we connect with our people?
Besides calling, are you saying?
In addition to making a quarterly call, just throw it out there. What other ways do you communicate with your database?
Email, text.
Email,
Card.
text,
Social media?
social media,
Handwritten.
handwritten notes. Handwritten notes are number 2 behind a phone call in impact. Put on your daily routine, send a minimum of 3 notes a day. Okay,
Night. Segment.
I have that set up.
I do 3. You could do more. So you could do more. The averages should be 50 a month is what they say to do, but I just do 3 a day.
So that's not just a quarterly thing, that's all year long,
Every day.
really?
Okay, but I have reasons, so we're gonna talk about, part of it is Facebook, finding people to send notes to. 3 a day. And it doesn't have to be necessarily a client. It could be your lender. You know what? Thanks for taking that call from my buyer at 9 o'clock at night on Friday and helping get everything set. I really appreciate it. Lenders have referrals to give, right?
Sure.
How many people do they have to give them to? Though they get very few referrals as to a big pool of us. So that's a way to stand out. That they see you give better service if you're sending them handwritten notes. Okay, so we've got text messages, emails, handwritten notes, Facebook.
What are you writing? How's it going, I guess, or like?
It depends. If I don't have a reason, if I'm just thinking of somebody, usually it's gratitude or, hey, you know what? I was thinking about you. And I know the last time we talked, you were really struggling with, or you were thinking about this, did it happen? The last time we talked, and that's where it's really important to take notes when you're calling people. The last time we talked, you said that you had applied for your dream job and that you were going for your final interview. How did it go? Right. Right. I mean, most of the time, my handwritten notes, and it can purely be a follow-up in your phone call. It can purely be, hey, you know what? I'm like, thanks for taking my call today and helping me with creating my contractor list. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Like right now is gratitude. Right now, everybody that did business with me this year is getting a handwritten card and a phone call. All of my co-brokes. Do not forget to send a card to your co-brokes and call them, except for the ones that were complete idiots.
I have a couple.
Because it's really hard to lie to somebody who was really hard to work with. Okay, I get it.
Just sound really hard to work with. Thank you for the permission.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I want you to think about this. Call your. I had if everybody that has been in the business for a while knows who the Nemesis are. So I called Jean, and I could tell she was rushed. And I'm like, Jean, it's Chris Ruskowitz, and we know each other because we do a lot of transactions together. The first time I called her, and this was years ago, I was still at Remax when I did this. And she's like, what's up? And I said, you know what? I just wanted to call and say thank you. Why? What did I do? I said, Jean, we did 3 transactions together again this year, and it is such a pleasure to work with someone who is professional. We never have problems when things come up. We're calm. We work it out for our clients, and I just wanted to say thanks. We ended up talking for 45 minutes. I mean, think of the impact. And there's 2 things here. The biggest thing is, and those of you that have been in the business for a while, is it not true if when we've been in these multiple offer situations, do our sellers even ask us, how is this realtor? Are they any good?
I do.
All right, my clients ask me when I'm presenting 17 offers and I have a spreadsheet and I have the top 5 or 6 and say, you know what, we're not even looking at the rest of these because they don't even come close. Let's look at this. If they're unsure, well, who should, and if they don't, I will say if they're marginal, it's okay. But if there's somebody in there, I'm gonna say, hey, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really have to tell you, this particular agent is horribly difficult to communicate with. It takes days to get answers. We have a lot of problems, and I want this to be a really smooth transaction for you. I would do this or this.
Your spreadsheet, I have like
Yep.
price, the earnest money closing date, and I have the agent.
I do too. No, I do too. And then I color code them.
I want to know who I'm working with.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So send cards to them as well. All right. So, we've got all these different ways to communicate now. Automation is our friend. Command is our friend. Okay. I'm going to show you something, and it's in the drive. And if you don't have it, Peter, I'll send it to you. But I want you guys to see this. This is our ramped up DTD2 system that is going to change your world. Seriously, it's going to change your world. Bear with me. The mouse is not hooked up, and I'm a mouse person. Okay. So this is the old one. Okay, I'll send you the new one. I'll get the new one in here. This is the one that has not been 100%. This is my spreadsheet. All right, so I think there's just a couple things that need to be changed. So here's what happens. We have week 1, right? The D&O group is not the call group. They're going to get something in the mail. Okay, what I've been sending is just a very simple, I create a buyer needs letter. My assistant creates it. It goes out, buyer needs. We currently have these buyers looking for homes. You can do it for whatever. I mean, if you need to change it, change it. You can mail anything or don't mail. This is the piece that if you're gonna skip one, because it gets to be too much, I would skip the snail mail. Okay. The B&E group is gonna get an email. Guess what you can email? Go to Keeping Current Matters and copy the dang blog and put it in an email. Okay, guys, this is not rocket science, and it's great information, and you get one almost every day from them. Pick one. Okay, and when you open it up, there's a tab. You don't have to like physically copy it. You just click the tab, copy blog for email. You click the tab, you go into command, you pull up this group, and you can create a smart plan, okay? Because what's gonna happen is then the next week it's going to D&O, and the next week it's going to H&B. So you can create one smart plan, and I have a smart plan for the email and a smart plan for a text message. It's called DTD 211. Okay, so now create the email. You only have to create it once a quarter.
Launch one is Q1, right?
And then, I'm sorry, what?
Launch one is Q1.
Yep, launch one is Q1. Okay, then A&W on the list is the call group. And then we have a text group. So you do the same thing with the text messages. You create launch one, and you can create the text. That we did launch one, launch two, launch three, launch four right at the beginning of the year. And so on Tuesdays, my virtual assistant knows she's sending out launch 4 text to whatever group it is that week. But here's the cool part. And I did not create this, but I want you to see this. The text messages are already here.
Oh, dang.
So Dan Tamarkin is my man. He is the creator of the worksheets we were using last week. He is an engineering brain, and he is happy to share. He's actually doing a free class today on the spreadsheet that we worked through last week. He does this, he loves it. He's in Tampa, and he gives the best hugs. When we go to Tampa and there's 200 of us, everybody's like in line to get a hug from Dan. But it's already here, guys. So all you need to do, okay? Hey, Tanika, how have you been? I hope everything's going well with you. Let's catch up when you have a moment. Okay? How hard is that? But here's what I'm going to tell you. I know the minute it has been sent on Tuesdays because people respond.
Are they responding to your phone text, or how are they, like, if you send it out in command? How are
Do
they
you have the
responding?
command app on your phone?
I didn't know there was.
Oh, okay. It comes right to your command app and you can respond right from your command app. You need to download the command app.
Have it.
Do you have the command? Yeah, you
Here.
have the
Yeah,
app.
yeah, I do have it. Yep, I've got it. Okay, so it will come to me that way.
Okay, so here. Who uses command and has the app uses it? Okay, Sue will show you how. I mean, because it comes up, it pops right up on my phone. And when I go to the little bell, here, I just got at a client that couldn't make it to the event last night. And she wanted to know if they could drop their basket off, and I can respond right from my phone. Now, a year ago, you could not respond from your phone.
Okay.
Yes, this is Twilio.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to have Twilio.
I have Twilio set up. That's all.
Okay,
But you can also respond via your
your own,
Twilio number.
yes, or it gives you the option.
Oh.
But see, here's what you have to do. If you are using Twilio and you are going to start doing this, the first text and the first smart plan email you send out, make sure on the text message you say, hey, Sue, this is Chris at Keller Williams. I have a new work texting number. It's really me.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because they don't realize
Right,
it's me.
right.
And I had tons of, screwed up learn from my mistake. Make sure you do that. Because people were like, unsubscribe, unsubscribe, and I'm like, well, and then I got a chance to call them all and say, okay, I screwed up, I'm really sorry. That is me. Can you please say start? Can you respond to that and say start? Because I do client parties and I want you guys to know what's going on. And so, and they know that, and I was able to call them. But definitely when you start using it, and actually I've had people tell me they send the text out, just a text that just says, hey, just want you to know it's me. And this is my new business texting number. So you're going to get texts from me. Don't unsubscribe unless you really want to. I did something tongue in cheek, and other people have as well. So make sure you do that. Okay, but I want you to think
So if
about
that
what,
text back start, they can get back on.
yes. Yep, all they have to do is text back start. You're gonna have to
Or
go
use the other number.
or use your other number. Now, I know some people will use Reach, some people use, remember the name of the other one now, it just went completely out of my mind. There are apps you can use. I'm sorry, I have command. Why on earth am I gonna pay for an app that I have to spend time downloading every single contact, out of contact, command, make sure they're in my phone, and then you have to set up groups. Now, if I had an assistant here that I was paying, I might say, here's my phone for an hour, do it.
Yeah.
Or do this group or that group, hit them up is the other one. Now, that is coming directly from your phone. So you can use Reach or hit them up. You can set up all your DTD2 groups in there, and it's coming from your number. If I don't have to, I'm not putting the extra time and effort into it, and you have to pay for it. Reach is like $5, I think it's $4.99. I don't know how much hit them up is.
But this is free.
Exactly, it's Kim's favorite word, free, right? Okay, but think about this, and the text messages from him are already here. So this is in, and I'll make sure, you know what, I can check something. Let me look at. I need a mouse.
So it's telling you what, it's telling you that text message, that was the text message we were looking at, right?
Yep.
Does it have a sample of the email you want to send out?
This is the current one. Okay, so here's here's fourth quarter. The text message that's going out to all of my people right now is, how's everything? I was thinking about you, just wanted to say hi. Hope everything's going well with you and your family as we start to wind down 2022. I have gotten a ton of responses. Every week I get responses, and what's nice about it, it's only going out once a week to a smaller group, the same, but it's a different group than I'm calling. And so it's easy for me to respond. It's not like I'm sending it to 1,000 people all at once.
When it comes
So I have
back
time.
to you, does it connect to a name? Do you know?
Yes, that when you set up a smart plan, that's what it does. You set up a smart plan
Okay.
and it pulls their name.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how they work. Okay, so what do you think about this?
Love it.
What is the
Can you-
D2, DT, what does that stand for?
So DTD2,
Stands for.
doing the database 2. Here's the schedule. So what I did, and there is, I'll try and find it and add it. There is a YouTube video that will show you how to easily create the DTD2 tags in command and add your people to the DTD2 tags. And it was Marty Miller's, I think, was the easiest
Yeah.
one, I think.
Yep.
Or go to YouTube, search Marty Miller. Marty Miller is the command tech group and the nicest guy ever in the world. Super good. He has a YouTube video on how to do every single thing in command. But here's the schedule. You can find it online, but there's the schedule. So the first week, it's telling you who to call. But now you can snail mail if you choose to, and if you don't, that's okay. I think 3 touches is a lot to begin with, but you can snail mail, you can text and email in addition to making your calls. This is easy, guys, and you're not spending any extra money. So now you're calling them, texting, emailing, and maybe snail mailing. Okay,
Is the snail mail and the email in addition to automated stuff?
For me,
Like if you have, for example, you have from your friends or email or
that's one, yeah, that goes to everybody once a month. That's, I don't push the snail mail letter. Mine is, I only do, oh yeah, it's once a month. I do the snail mail once a month with buyer needs, then that may be changing based on the market. But I am also sending out from your friends. I send out schedules.
Do you do a separate
And-
email in addition to a neighborhood nurture trip? I'm
Yes,
assuming.
yeah,
Probably
so
not.
you could do, because the neighborhood nurtures in there as well. Okay, so now let's talk about what that looks like. Because here's what
I'm
it,
Getting a lot of emails from us, and we work with nurture. And I'm getting a.
well, and there's a lot of different things to go into.
I don't want them to unsubscribe.
Right.
But, and you have to do what's right for you. Okay, so this is also in the drive. So this is a really easy schedule to use. Created by my other favorite technology geek in real estate, Scott Kloss. Okay, so I don't use all of this. There's ways to put your numbers in here, but I use the third tab first. Okay, so here's my schedule for next year. So I'm going to give you some ideas. Also write down for your client base, and I'm going to send that letter as well. So we talked a little bit about this. The other thing you can do if you choose to is send out, there is a 3-year happy birthday smart plan.
Why do you think 3-year, like it
It
sets up?
it
for
sets
3?
up for 3 years.
Okay.
And what I have in the smart plan, and I can share it, I can publish it as well, is a reminder to send a card 5 days before their birthday. Peter's going, yeah, reminder's really good, otherwise it's not gonna get out, is it? And it will not get out in time. Now, I have a virtual assistant who uses AM cards to send the cards out. Okay, so she gets the task, but when we look at tasks in command, okay, that it's 5 days before, send so-and-so a birthday card. Now, if you have them in AM cards and you have their birthdays, they also send you an email reminder.
Better a date early.
Yeah, you set it up, 7 days earlier, I think
It
it is.
takes a while to get it to them.
Yeah, send the card
Through AM.
so that they can get it done and get it sent, right? Now, here's the best way to do this on birthday cards and AM cards. Create one card for the year and just send the same card to everybody for the year. Don't go in and create a new card every single time it's their birthday. Don't go in and do them one by one. Create one card on a template and save it. Sue just had a big aha, didn't she? Okay, now, okay. So carrying on with birthdays. They get a card. There's a reminder task in command. The day of their birthday, the task pops up. Call them and do a social happy birthday post. And they get a text message.
Also, an app on your phone.
Yeah.
You'll have
So
it.
now they respond. They're on my phone, I can respond back. Now, if they respond to the text message, I probably won't call. I don't want to overwhelm people. Unless they're really special people, I'm gonna call them no matter what. And I do call some of them, or I'll call and wish them a happy birthday. And you also, if you're in making your calls, because that's the first calls I make in the morning, your birthday calls. If I know that I've talked to them, I can go into command and stop the text. If I
Oh.
choose to.
Okay.
Are you just grabbing the birthdays?
No, I'm gonna tell you how you do that too. Yes, you can. If you don't have them, yes, you can. But here's,
I got that one email that.
I'm gonna take the birthday, I'll get you guys the letter. We talked a little bit about this. So we'll finish up on birthdays and then we're gonna do a couple more things. birthdays, if you don't have them, call and ask them. But here's a better way to do it that has worked out really well, and I stole this from another agent in New Jersey who's a good friend. Sent out a letter, hey, it's your birthday. Sent out an email and it said, hey, it's your birthday. And then, bless you.
Thank you.
And the email went, oh, wait, it's not? Well, we want to know when it is. Can you do us a favor? Click here and let us know, because, and I'm doing this starting in January, everybody whose birthday I have is going into a drawing for a $50 gift card to a local business, but I can't give you that gift card if I don't know what your birthday is, so fill this out. I now have a spreadsheet, because she's been sending it out in small batches. I now have a spreadsheet of probably 100-ish birthdays that I didn't have. Now, I've had them before. You can look at Facebook and get them. Now, you don't have to do this, but now think about the impact you're having, because now you're going to put, it's really easy to list them and put them in a little, there's an app online that you can actually like record pulling a number, pulling a name. And I've used it before for other stuff.
Oh.
You know, and then I don't like Facebook Live, because if I screw up, I can't stop it. But if you have Zoom, you can do it on a free Zoom account. You know, you can record it and save it and post it for free. Yeah, just get it. I have a free account because I do a lot of coaching and training on Zoom. But if you, all you need is a free account, which gives you 40 minutes, which you're never going to use. Well, you might if you're online with clients. But I just do recording. Hey, it's Chris here from CJ Realty Group at Keller Williams. It's time. Who's going to be the lucky winner in January for a $50 gift card to Kegels in West Allis? Because I'm always picking local places. And let the little thing go, because you can put them all in there. Let them, I have my virtual assistant do it. Let the little thing go, and it'll pull somebody in. Yay! And then I get to call them, and then I get to go see them or mail or whatever. So that's a pretty cheap way to like engage your people and do something extra. Okay, so here's my schedule, but let's talk about this. So we have the DTB2 calls and texts, and that's kind of like everything that's on that schedule. Okay. The 2023 outdoor event magnet. So that's all of the stuff that's going on. If you can't always get it in January, I have a local person that does it as well. We already have like Summerfest dates and ethnic festivals, and when some of the like the beer gardens in the Milwaukee County parks, we have some of it. She sometimes has to wait until February to get it, but as soon as she gets it, of all the mailers, I know some people don't like that, and they think that, you know, there's going to be stuff, and not everybody does. I get it. Not everybody keeps them. That one, because she's local, I add my client events to it if I know, because then they know where all my client parties are. So what I'll have on it is everything in green, the spring clean out event, like the VIP baseball event. I just got the date. It's July 22nd, so I can put it on there so that they have all the dates. So that's pretty cool. From your friends' postcards. Who doesn't know what it is? Have you ever seen?
I like to take a better look at it. I don't have the subscription, and I've heard of it, but I just.
Oh,
I don't know what
super
they have
easy
to
and
do.
inexpensive. They mail them. They do all the research. They connect with local businesses. And then it's a buy one, get one free, buy dinner. Kegels came to mind because last month, I think it was buy 2 dinners and get $15 off or something like that. And they mail it for you. And it's less than $1 a
So is
postcard.
this like if I have someone in, like Jackson, Wisconsin, or Racine, are they more
I
like?
send it to everybody, and if they don't use it, they don't use it, because there are things in other areas that come up.
Okay.
So,
Oh. So they get like a.
yeah, you can go in and see, and you know ahead of time who's going in. So that's a mailer, the market update email with video. I also subscribe to viral marketing, which is videos, so that's a little bit different than you guys, that's expensive, so, but you could do it on your own. And that's monthly. But then we have notes, birthday cards, anniversary cards, and the community page with local businesses and events and stuff. So let's talk about anniversary cards. Put everybody's home anniversary in AM cards. You create one card that says happy house anniversary. We're just in the process of setting up new ones for next year. You only need one template, send it out. That's another touch.
This is all like assistant work. There is no possible way that I can get this done in 165 days.
The best you can, that's all you can do. You also have in command the neighborhood, the neighborhood reports. You can do it by month, you can do it twice a month or once a month. That's a lot of touches in and of itself.
Yeah.
I haven't even brought up client events. You guys can do this. Now let's talk client events. The community pages, that's a Facebook page I have, and that's why I get Milwaukee Magazine, which is another thing you can use for getting information to send people an email. And there's one other, go ahead, Sue, you have a.
Are you like friends with Milwaukee Magazine on Facebook? Is that what you're doing?
And I signed up for email. I get an email. They send me an email and it has all the stuff that's going on. Like today, I'm gonna get an email that says what's going on for the weekend.
And you're clicking on that and then you're sharing it.
I just open up the article and I share it on Facebook.
Okay.
Every Friday, you will get an email telling you what's going on in Milwaukee and the surrounding area this weekend that you should know about. Where are all the pumpkin farms? Where are the best places to buy Christmas trees? Now, the other thing that I'm not going to access today. Who knows how to search smart plans? A couple of people. When you go into smart plans in command, there's your smart plans and then there's the library. Click on the library and just search the word Milwaukee. One of the really cool things about partnering with other market centers here is that they are constantly creating smart plans specific to Milwaukee. There is one in there for the best places to buy Christmas trees. And it's for Milwaukee.
Get that
How
out today.
cool is it to get local content? It's all you need to do is add the smart plan to your command, go in and pull up your contacts and you can do it bulk. Add smart plan, click on it and add. You need to have, I asked them that, they do have stuff online. And I think we need to do a little bit more here. Or I may ask Abby. You just have to be nice. You buy Abby a beer in the foot.
There you go.
Love Abby with all my heart. She started out as our DFI. Here's someone that was our front desk staff that's now the regional tech. Pretty cool. But she's awesome. But I mean, think about, okay, it's Christmas time, it's Christmas tree time. I had pumpkin farms. I was getting it from Milwaukee Magazine, but now we're going to have those smart plans in command. And they've got postcards and all kinds of other stuff.
So does it cost money for the Milwaukee Magazine?
No, I used to pay for Milwaukee Magazine and it's like, why I don't want the paper. It's like, yeah, I just signed up for the email. I get the email for free. All right, so this is mine. And there's packer schedules in there, there's brewer schedules in there, and I do client parties. So, who else does? I mean, some of you have done the pies. Is there anybody that does client events other than me on a regular basis?
So for the Capper team, we do. We've done our photos with Santa last weekend, which was not.
I was here, it was awesome. You guys did a great job.
So as a group, I think it's easier to do it as a group of
It can
people than it is by yourself. It's so overwhelming. I think that is very successful, especially.
Who else?
I do agree. You need. Say,
Okay, that's awesome. That's super awesome.
Not gonna do that today, are you?
It's usually only good for 3 of the 4 quarters. If you're adventurous. And you have good meat here.
Okay, so, and that's great for you because you obviously are involved, very involved, and it's important to you, and it's a hobby, so you're connecting with like-minded people. Okay, think about that. What's your hobbies? Are there clubs you belong to? You know, stuff like that.
I've done a couple of building that I former teacher. Schools.
Here's an idea for you. 2 things. The school lunches are good. The blessing baskets started because of families in a school district in Maryland, in Baltimore, that were struggling during COVID to put food on the table because they had lost their jobs. So that is the origin of the blessing baskets. Ellie McIntyre, who was her son's school, went to the school district. They know who's struggling. Okay, went and talked to the school counselors, went to the school district, got the list of families, reached out to her clients, her neighbors, her friends, and said, hey, I want to help them. Can each of you guys put together a basket for a meal and add a gift card for food? That's how it started. You may want to think about that, because then the teachers know, they know what you're doing. And instead of bringing them lunch and trying to have real estate conversations, this has been huge, huge. Bringing the community together. I can't strongly enough suggest that if you have a charity, that means something to you, to include your charity as much as possible. Last night, and now it's more than, because 2 more calls came in today. Last night, now as of this morning, we have 54 baskets, what we call blessing baskets for veterans. 54 veterans that are being served by the Milwaukee Homeless Veterans Initiative are going to get a laundry basket full of everything they need, including a gift card to a grocery store to buy fresh food for Christmas. My clients show up and they don't know what to do. And last year when I did it for the first time and I handed them a list and said, here, this is what you do. I'll tell the directions and go buy the stuff and put it in a laundry basket. And then I'm having a happy hour on this day and everybody comes to the happy hour and they bring their basket. They came last year with like way more stuff than which is great. And they're awesome. And they said, thank you. That was really easy because you just told me what to do. I just had to take this and go to the store. Yeah. It's so easy. I sent my husband without me with the list. Or like, I need to go buy more baskets. These aren't big enough. Why did you do?
That's a good problem.
It's okay. It's all good. So, but here's some ideas for client events that are really easy. I mean, you can do that, but here's easy, cheaper, inexpensive. Do a shred day. They saw at my spring clean out event that's in April. I'm in the parking lot here for 2 hours with a shredding truck, a dunk hauler, and the Milwaukee Homeless Veterans Initiative. Okay, so for 2 hours I'm here. I get sponsors to pay for everything. The dunk hauler I use is Camel Crew. They are veteran owned. They do not charge me because they know I'm doing it to benefit the Milwaukee Homeless Veterans Initiative. The shred truck is $700. So I just get sponsors to help pay for it. Focus brings donuts and coffee. My people pull up, they go to the shredding truck, they dump all their stuff and they get it shredded. They bring donations for the Milwaukee Homeless Veterans Initiative. What's cool about having a junk hauler like Camel Crew is they take electronics.
Oh.
And it's really hard to get rid of electronics without paying for it, right? So it's a service to them. My charity gets a truck full of stuff. Last year, not this year, last year, I had clients who said, she said, I have been bugging Ryan, her husband, for 2 years. I want new furniture in the living room and in the basement. The kids are older now, and we had that old furniture down there, and it's ratty, and I don't want people here. They literally came with 2 trucks and a trailer full of furniture.
Nice.
And walking homeless veterans, they're filling up the truck. Well, how cool is that? But I want you to think about not that, not the impression, not what they remember about the event, because not everybody comes. Here's why client events are important. My clients get 7 touches. Okay. They get calls, they get emails, they get text messages. And they get a snail mail invite, because I still have people that have to have the dang postcard to put on their refrigerator, or they forget about it. So they get a postcard, they get a call, they get an email invite that's telling them all about it, like the blessing baskets. We had a link in there to the list of what was needed, and then we had a second link. If you are so inclined, there's a lot of extra things that they need. Here's their additional list of which people brought snacks and foods and stuff. But that's, I mean, you're still touching people. Then they get reminder, they get a reminder email, they get a reminder text.
Then they get a thank you.
Now, I got to see a bunch last night. Everybody is getting a handwritten note that I'm doing over the weekend. So I want you to think about the touches, and what if you did one simple client event a quarter? Just one a quarter, and they each got 7 touches. And a phone call, and a birthday text, and all the other stuff. Add it up. You're touching them probably 55 to 60 times a year, not 36. And none of it costs a bunch of money unless you decide to do more expensive client events. Most of it's free or very inexpensive.
We talked about that RPR, do that equity analysis. I jumped on there the other day and not very easy to navigate from what I saw.
Okay.
So I know I'm missing something.
Yes, you are. And it's very complicated. And I have a really good friend that jumped on Zoom. He's the regional tech for one of the regions in Florida. I will send you the link to the recording of his whole system. You have to know how to make your way through it. It's not, once you figure out what works for you,
Right.
now it's easy for me, but I too, if he's like, no, you can do, I'm like, Ronnie, you are gonna get on a Zoom and you're gonna teach us,
Yeah.
because I'm
Spend like an hour on it.
Yeah. I'll send
Getting
you the
garbage.
link, and I want to go through it for those who want to do it.
Yeah.
Because everybody
using
that owns a house.
Ever since we saw him, and it's a lot better than.
What's nice about it is, even if you want to go into MLS and pull comps first, you can add the MLS numbers in there for the report. But here's the really cool stuff about the reports from RPR. They look better, but the information is better. And honestly, it's more accurate because RPR pulls all home sale data, even if it was an off-market property. They also have foreclosures and pre-foreclosures because they pull court records. I mean, we talked about it the other day, and I know I wasn't here, I was on Zoom, but sometimes people want to know, and you could use that in a conversation with the seller. If you have a seller that is in an area that wants $100,000 more because their neighbor down the street got it in February when rates were 4%. Okay, now you have the data. There's some things in RPR that are exactly what we need to use. That's part of it. There's a spread, there's a graph, and this graph is beautiful. So we're talking about days on market. You can actually, as part of the seller's report, there's a report that shows if the house was on the market for less than 30 days, it sold for 101% of the list price. From 31 to 60 days, it sold for 97%. Anything over 60 days, and it only is sold for 91%. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, those people down here, they sold for 93% of a reduced price because they priced it too high for the market. And here's what, you're showing them data that it's not you telling them that they need to price it lower. You're showing them this is what happens. So there's just a lot of good stuff in there. So then when you have that equity analysis and you kind of have some of that extra data, and then you show them how much equity they have. I had the first year I did it was 2021. Because I was trying to find a way to get to people during COVID when we still weren't going out a whole lot. First quarter 2021, it resulted in 17 transactions. Because people went, I literally had younger couple bought the house, she was pregnant with their first child. Now they have 2 kids and a dog, they're both working from home. They're a little cramped. So I get them on a Zoom, I go through it, they had $140 some thousand in equity. His words were, "Holy, are you kidding me?" I said, "No, I'm not. I just showed you what your neighbor's house sold for 2 weeks ago. What do you think? I think we need to go find a house." Sent them to lender, sent them to Rich at A+. Rich says, "Oh my gosh, yes, they can buy without selling. They have all this equity. They're making good money. Even on this little house in West Dallas, they were in an adorable house, but the payment wasn't much. They could afford it. Found them a great house. I sold their house for $212. They bought it for $120 some thousand. And they had a substantial down payment. And they wouldn't have known that if I didn't do my job and tell them how much equity they had, there's no way he thought they could have moved. Okay. One of it turned out to be a referral, and it was a past client who bought a house that they renovated, had more than enough equity to buy an $800,000 vacation home. That was a really nice referral check, and all I did was connect them with an agent. But they would have never known that they could actually buy that dream home on the lake if I wouldn't have reached out to them and told them. That's our job.
You're doing them a disservice if you don't.
Can you share the link?
With the, you know what, I'll put it in here, because he did it, in like August. I'll put it in here so everybody has it, and he will walk you through it. I'll put it
Driver and this calendar thing.
Everything else is in, this is all in the drive. So, but I'll put the link in for the training. Time, and I gotta go meet somebody at 12:30, but it's okay. So was this helpful?
Yeah.
Okay, so you all have, time out. You all have this calendar
Well, wait, where is this?
in the drive,
Where?
in the drive that,
It's locked. Yeah,
in the business planning workshop, 2022 biz planning workshop.
it's locked right now, though.
Yeah.
Like that specific thing is locked. They
Yeah, it
just
says
had
it's a copy of it, but it's locked.
Okay, so did you ask for? Did you? Cause this is not mine, this is Kelly's.
Oh, right.
Okay, that's going to be a Kelly question.
Yeah.
There are also, like for the smart plans, they're like.
It's in KW Connect, but I'm going to, if you go to the calendar. Our calendar, there are links in there for Zooms from Kathleen Wooten and Brain Dead. And so they're doing training for everybody you can get on Zoom. And I thought there was command and smart plan training. If there's not, we will do it, because I think a lot of you are probably not really well versed. You're newer, so you guys need more help. And I think maybe Well, but you're here, and so you'll know what to do. That's awesome. Yeah, okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I can't do it now, but let me look and see and talk to Kelly. Maybe we could do a Zoom. Sometimes it's easier to get on a Zoom and screen share.
Yeah.
And show you guys
Yeah, we're gonna be
where
working on computers anyway. That
Yeah.
way you guys can work on yours and we can work on ours.
we'll get on it. And even if we just do a Zoom and show you, okay, here's where to come in, here's smart plans, here's how you find the smart plan library. We'll show you how to download it into your library and how to connect it. The first thing you need to do though is DTD to your phone. Yeah. Some of you. Uh-oh, hey, come on, guys, you gotta have this done.
Wait, what?
Okay, so I need to, before I forget, so I'm gonna put the link in for,
You guys totally wanna watch that YouTube video though, for the, how quick you can, like the bulk tagging.
The command,
Yeah.
smart plan, with Marty Miller.
Marty Miller has
Really
everything.
is smart, that
Oh,
one
where's
is
it
just a, it's the DTD to
Is it a smart
tagging. It's
Oh,
not
tagging.
the tagging, like the YouTube video to show that you can do it in bulk, otherwise you're gonna be clicking.
Right,
every
yeah, I'm gonna
single-
post that, I'm gonna find those YouTube
Okay.
videos and put them in the drive, and then the RPR,
Oh, really? Yeah.
Videos.
RPR video, Ronnie.
Like 2-3 hours, I got through everybody and redid it, and, cause I initially did it by last name, and I changed it to the first name instead. So that I'm touching family members, husband and wives.
I
separately.
actually, that's at the last one of my last tips, I know we're running out of time. I want you to think about what you just said. Everybody's doing their DTD two by last name. Are you gonna call husband and wife in the same day? Do it by first name.
Yeah, so I just went back and retagged all my.
Cause here's what happens. And I've had it happen.
Wait a minute.
I talk to the wife and we have this conversation and I don't talk to the husband. And then the next time I call, she said, you know what? I gotta tell my husband when you call me. Cause she actually said his work wife just listed their house with somebody else. Now, if I would have called him and reminded him of who I was and what I do, I might have gotten a call. So I do last names and I learned that the hard way.
So you do, wait.
You do
last
first
name,
name,
first
yeah.
name.
I need first name, I'm sorry, first name.
So you're doing, so the,
It's the same number of people.
I'm confused now. So the DTD2 system, so January 1, week 1 is A through W.
A and
A and W. Okay.
Don't say A through W.
No,
That would be a lot.
You will never get done.
So are you saying all the people with the last name are in A?
First name.
I do first name.
You're doing
First name starts with A, first name starts with W. Now, understand when you do that, the reason they did it the way they did and paired those letters together is so that you're calling about the same number of people every week. Well, okay, because I actually have one client whose first name starts with Z. Do we know, I don't have, I know people whose first name starts with an X, but I don't have any in mind. So your numbers might be a little bit different. You might have a lot more people in one week than you normally would, but
Yeah.
but if you're calling them by first name, you're calling spouses on different days. I mean, in different weeks.
Yeah.
And if you call one and not the other is not going to necessarily remember to call you when somebody wants to buy or sell. Make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so I will have Kelly put the links in the drive for Marty Miller and for the RPR training that we did. You can go to YouTube and look at Marty Miller. He has a video on everything in but they had a really easy way to tag people instead of to bulk tag so that it doesn't take you forever. It's just okay. I know this was a lot of information. What I would highly suggest you guys do is,
Take a nap.
here's what I would really, 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 really tell you guys to do is just think about everything. Write yourself a list of what you think you want to do and pick one. And I would suggest downloading that spreadsheet, make a copy of the spreadsheet and just learn. And if you need help, we'll find help for you. And Catherine Garrell will help you with command. So reach out to Catherine as well. And I would set up those text messages, those quarterly text messages, because now you'll have a system of who to call. Even if you just call and send the text message, that's more touches than you're doing now. Right? And the text message is easy. It's a smart plan. And Catherine can help with that. I can publish the smart plans. Okay, I can have my virtual assistant publish the smart plans for the text messages. So you don't have to recreate those. Right? I'll have her publish them and you can actually search the library by my name and they'll come up. Okay. So whatever you want to do, just do one at a time. Don't try and do it all. And then you may want to look for birthdays, or you may want to, you know, start gathering that information, but make sure you call them. Because that's your number one. And you should get, with consistency, most of your business is going to come from your database. So, you know, if you're looking at this, okay, and there's 17 coming from your database, and you're not here right now because you haven't been consistent and it takes time to build this, I'm going to tell you, you'll start seeing results in 90 days. If you do this consistently for 6 months, you're really going to start seeing results when you get that second, because now you've had a lot of touches. Okay, but then ramp this up first. Ignite is starting next month. If you choose to do Ignite, there's going to be more, and then we'll talk about door knocking, open houses. You guys just went through Bold and going through, I mean, I know there's a lot, so you can't do it all. Don't try. You got to work. I could sit in class. I could teach half a day and sit in class all day. And was really, really, really happy. And that doesn't work for a business. So pick one, start working on it. And then think about your another source of leads. If you can get 2 of them, I'm sorry, what?
Can I get your opinion on something?
Help you on something?
Opinion, and maybe, I mean, I
Okay.
know others,
Talk to me.
so. Trying not to bite off, you're not gonna eat a whole elephant at once, I wanna bite off a little bit. What would be homegrown cappers or Ignite?
Homegrown cappers.
That's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure.
Homegrown cappers. Join us. I've been through Ignite before. Right?
No.
Or you haven't. Homegrown cappers. You've been through Bold. You've got enough experience under your belt. Ignite is really good. Don't get me wrong. And I will probably be one of the instructors again, depending on timing. It's really, really good. But homegrown cappers is where you're at now. You're looking to grow. You've already got business. Now you're looking to grow it. And I love that they're doing client events together. There may be other ones that, I mean, spring clean out event would actually be a really good group event. It really would. So I've already thrown that out there to Michelle. We might do that. Peter and I talked about it too. That's a really good group. And if it's not through them, I may still do it anyway. And bring. All right. If you guys have questions, call me, text me. You know where to find me. I am